Protein powders and protein shakes contain high levels of lead. So my mom texted me like yesterday. She's like, man, did you see this Consumer Report article? Protein powders are terrible for you. And I'm just kidding. She didn't actually say that. She just sent me the article. She's wondering what I have to say. I'll tell you what I have to say right now, Madre, okay? Are you ready? So in this investigative Consumer Reports article, hard-hitting, you got the facts, they evaluated 23 products, found that more than 2/3 of them contain more lead in a single serving than our experts say is safe to have in a day. Our experts. Trust the experts. And what are the experts basing this claim on? They're basing it on California's Proposition 65. This is a 1986 initiative that requires the state to publish a list of chemicals known to cause cancer or birth defects or other reproductive harm. This list is updated at least once a year and has grown to include over 800 chemicals. It also requires businesses to notify Californians about significant amounts of chemicals in the products they purchase in their homes or workspaces or that are released into the environment. And you've probably seen one of these Prop 65 labels on something that you've bought, okay? If it's got enough lead, if it meets the threshold of having enough lead, they're going to say, hey, buddy, you might get cancer, okay? But I want to expand on what that actually looks like. What is the actual threshold for cancer according to Prop 65? Well, the threshold is 15 micrograms of lead per day. And this threshold is called the no significant risk level. It means that a person exposed to the chemical at the no significant risk level for 70 years would not have more than a 1 in 100,000 chance of developing cancer as a result of exposure. That might not sound super crazy to you, but 1 in 100,000, if you're being exposed to something over the course of 70 years, those chances are pretty crazy. Okay, that is pretty crazy, but hey, that is actually not the standard that they're using. They're using a more stringent standard. The standard they're using is 0.5 micrograms per day. And this is for reproductive toxicity. This is called the maximum allowable dose, which is a formula of the no observable effect level divided by 1,000, okay? So the no observable effect level is where scientists first identify the highest dose of a chemical that showed no observable adverse reproductive effects in the most sensitive animal study. They take that number and divide it by 1,000. Okay, so the most sensitive animal study, they took the dosage from that where they say, oh, we didn't see any observable effects. They take that number, they divide it by 1,000. And that's how we get 0.5 micrograms per day. And that is the standard that they're using to compare to all of these protein powders. So at first glance, some of these look really bad. 1,572% of Consumer Reports level of concern for lead per serving. That's a lot. Or is it? 0.5 micrograms times 15.72. 1,572%. You get 7.86 micrograms. And I'm about to let you in on a little secret. They switch it up on you a little later in the article. So let's go a little later in the article. So in this loading up on lead graphic, they finally bring in something that seems a little bit more reasonable, okay? 8.8 micrograms per day. This is the FDA's interim reference level for dietary lead. And it was actually created to protect against lead toxicity in women of childbearing age. But an FDA spokesperson told Consumer Reports there is sufficient evidence for applying the 8.8 micrograms per day benchmark to all adults. So they're taking the pregnant woman threshold and they're applying that to all adults. Okay, all right. Let's take that at face value. So 5.3 micrograms is the daily exposure of the average American adult to lead. You add the they actually got the number wrong here, but 7.7 micrograms in the one serving of the most egregious offender when it comes to the protein powder. Together, that's 13 micrograms. Okay, you see how we're a little bit over the FDA's interim reference level for dietary lead with your average daily lead exposure plus your worst offending protein powder. You're at actually 167% of your interim reference level of dietary lead. The FDA's interim reference level for dietary lead. So what sounds worse, 1,572% or 167%? Is Consumer Reports trying to fearmonger you? Are they burying the less sensational information further down on the page and using the most stringent standards, the California Prop 65 standards? I'll let you answer that question. I don't think it's a bad thing to want to eat less heavy metals, right? I don't eat tuna that frequently because I know it has high levels of mercury. I eat smaller fish. I don't actually consume protein powder myself because I eat plenty of protein as it is. And if you're eating a little more than 0.7 grams of protein per pound of body weight, you're also eating enough protein. In this video, I'm pushing back on Consumer Reports because I think they're being a little bit disingenuous here by presenting the information the way they are. That being said, I'm not a big fan of the supplement industry myself because one, you can get the nutrients you need, almost all the nutrients you need from food, and two, the supplement industry is not well regulated. The Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act of 1994 sharply limited the FDA's authority, leaving supplements far less regulated than drugs. There are currently 12,000 registered supplement manufacturers, according to an agency spokesperson, and last year the FDA inspected only 600 of them, 510 domestic and 90 foreign. With that being said, thanks for watching the video, guys. If you're interested in health, fitness, nutrition, and whatever else comes to my mind, feel free to subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends. If this was informative, probably, and most importantly, share it with your mom so that she can have some clarity about this issue. Thanks for watching the video. Peace.